Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and I'm going to be walking you through the planning tools in Compose. So let's get started. Whenever you first log into Compose, you will need to navigate to a project and then you will land on the experiment list page. So we will want to, from here, go to our planning tools, which you can click planning here in the left sidebar. So this takes you to your hypothesis list page, and on this page you can see all of the hypotheses that your team has created. With Compose, you can add unlimited collaborators, so your whole team can work together to generate this list. So when you first create your account, you'll want to create your first hypothesis by clicking this button. The modal will prompt you to give your hypothesis a name, so we'll just give some filler text here. You will add an objective. In this space, you can add, more information about the insight that's driving this hypothesis, where you got the idea, anything like that. And then you need to add a site area. So this is anywhere on your site that's being affected by the change. So we'll just put PDP. The purpose of this is just so that your team can ensure that if you don't want to test on the same area at the same time, or you want to organize that so that you don't have any overlapping experiments, this is a good way to tell. Then you will use this drop-down to select your primary goal. The options we have here are just the options that are default goals in Compose. So if you do want to test a custom goal, you can include that in your objective, but we'll just select one here. And then you add a pi score, which is basically prioritizing your experiment. So you give it a score based on the potential, importance, and ease of implementation. And then we average those together so that your team will quickly have a visual of the priority of each hypothesis. So we'll just go ahead and do that and save it. Once it is saved, you will be able to go back in and edit it and add media. So if you want to add screenshots of the different variants, or if you want to add a screenshot of a competitor site where this test already exists, things like that, you can do that after the fact. So just for an example here, I'll go in to edit this checkout button loader, and I've added just a GIF animation of the type of loader that we were talking about. So once you save it, you'll be able to add any media that you have. So now I wanted to just go through these action icons over here. So from right to left, obviously this is delete. You can edit it after the fact or add that media that we just talked about. This icon dictates whether or not you have an experiment linked. So we'll show you how to link the experiment in a little while, but you can quickly visualize whether there's one linked or not based on the color of the icon. So purple ones are linked and the gray with the slash are not. And if you do click one of these linked ones, it will actually take you right to the experiment. So it's super easy to navigate between hypotheses and experiments once you have them created. And then this last button here is roadmap actions. So any of these purple hypotheses are actually already scheduled onto our roadmap, and any that are in gray are not yet there. So you have an option whenever you click this to either view it on the roadmap or add it to the roadmap. You can add the hypotheses multiple times. For example, if you want to test it, retest it because you're making a change, things like that, you can add them multiple times. But we're just going to add this test hypothesis that we just created, and you give it a roadmap name. So that's just because you can add hypotheses multiple times, and then you select the month that you plan on testing this. If you do already have an experiment created, you can link it here. If not, that's not a problem. So we will confirm, and then let's go on over to our roadmap in this left sidebar. So it automatically jumps you to the current month, but you can scroll back to see any historical experiments that you've had planned. You can also quickly see whether experiments are linked or not over here. So the roadmap is supposed to give you and your team a visual of what's coming up, what tests are planned each month. It's just a high-level overview so that you can make sure that you're testing as effectively as possible and never don't have the next thing lined up, basically. And you can easily drag and drop these around, so it makes it simple to modify. It's hard to always know how long an experiment will take, so it's very easy to adjust this if you need to. You can also just drag it to the bottom if you want to remove a hypothesis from the experiment. So yeah, that's sort of how the roadmap works. So now let's create an experiment and we will link it. So when you go to experiments, you click create an experiment, you give it a name, so we'll just give it test again. So you'll see that this link hypothesis is gray here. You need to click save, and then you can link your hypothesis. So we will link test hypothesis, and then you can see it already knows that it's on the roadmap, so we'll link that as well, just so that everything is consistently linked. And then, awesome. And then you would continue creating your experiment. For the purpose of this video, I'm just going to click save and then show you how this will be linked at the end. So when you go to your experiment list, we'll just pretend that this experiment has been running, and you go to the report page. So if this test was complete, and for example, at the end of the quarter, you're putting together a review of your experiments, and you just wanted to grab that initial insight to include with the test results, you would go to more actions, and then you can actually view the hypothesis directly from here. So all of the items in Compose, whether it's an experiment, a roadmap, or a hypothesis, are all linkable, and you can view them from each other, which makes it just really organized and helps your team be as efficient and effective as possible. Awesome. So that is an overview of our planning tools. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to our team, or we do have a lot of resources in our support center, which I will link in the comments at the bottom. So thanks for watching.